Secretary Cardona for being here today.
Thank you.
For keeping the focus. I know it's been hard because of the manner in which the questions get asked, but I keep seeing you keeping the focus on the issue of education, because we know that education is both the foundation of our democracy as well as the path for prosperity for our families. Now, I wanted to give you the time to answer a bit about the question that came up earlier. You really weren't given the time, or I'm sorry, the respect to be able to explain the authorities that you have under the Higher Education Act to forgive student loans. And that authority was given to the department through the Higher Education Act. Would you like to take do a quick response to why you are acting in this regarding student loans and the authority you're doing it under?
Well, we're looking very carefully at the authorities that I have under the Higher Education Act, an authority that was used by the last secretary as well. And the crisis that we're in with our higher education loan system and access to college, and we're using our authority carefully to make sure that we're making targeted decisions to help students accomplish their goals of reaching college and following up on what in bipartisan fashion, what Congress approved through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Thank you for that opportunity.
Right, and I think it's really important that Congress is constantly sort of assisting different industries, assisting different corporations, and the idea that we're going to be investing in our future workforce, in our children through education, is no different, right? And to say that Americans should not help with this endeavor is very short-sighted, because if we don't invest through education in our workforce, we do not have a future. So I am glad you are making those decisions. I wanted to touch on another topic, which we know that during the pandemic, it was hard on everybody. Our former president was doing a disastrous job of handling COVID. But then President Biden came in, and under a Democrat-led Congress, we passed multiple laws. We passed the American Rescue Plan, which gave schools a lot of flexibility on how to respond to these dire situations we found ourselves in. And schools used that flexibility. They used it to accelerate student learning, to address student mental health, to support educated workforce, because schools themselves, it was a philosophy of schools themselves would know best where to spend that money. I loved reading your testimony that you think that being bilingual is a superpower. I agree. And in New Mexico, some of those emergency relief funds were used for dual language teachers for certifications. I'm concerned about the different things that are going to happen as ESSER funds expire. How is your department preparing to assist schools with things like educated professor development, preparation for dual language teachers? How are we looking at the transition, and how does your budget address this issue of the transition and focusing on some of these needed areas?
Thank you for that question, and absolutely, bilingualism is a superpower, and I think what we need to do is make sure we're empowering our students to learn more languages so they can be prepared for global competitiveness. I really believe that strongly. Our budget does request additional dollars for, our OELA office that focuses on English language acquisition. It's important while maintaining your native language that you're learning English, so we have a request there for $50 million above last year, FY23 budget. We're continuing to support sustainability efforts, working with states. I was on the phone with the governor of New Mexico yesterday, talking about how the Department of Education could support New Mexico and ensuring that those strategies that we have seen worked. And I appreciate you mentioning the American Rescue Plan dollars. We've seen more growth in the 22-23 school year as a result of the use of those dollars than we've seen since 2009 for students in reading, mental health access. So the goal really is to make sure that we're continuing on those efforts that we know work. After-school programming, summer programming, mental health supports. We're working with states on how they can use existing funds, and our annual budget does show we're increasing Title Title III dollars, Title I dollars to make sure that schools have the dollars that they need to be successful.
Right, and those Title I dollars are so important because if we want America to succeed, we need to make sure our working families and those families that are living in the highest areas of poverty have the support they need. Thank you very much for your work, and I yield back.
Thank you.
Thank you.